Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining this technical webinar on double tax treaties and anti-avoidance rules, practical interaction and interpretation. My name is Angelo Chirulli. I'm the CEO and the tax advisor of Vectigalis Tax, and the purpose of this session is to move beyond treaty articles as abstract text and to look how treaty actually operate in live international tax work, in withhold tax planning, in cross-border structuring, in residence disputes, in permanent establishment analysis, and in controversy. This is a senior technical session, so I'm not going to treat the double taxation treaty as a set of isolated rates on dividends, interest, and royalties. In practice, a treaty claim stands or falls on much wider foundation, so you need to understand the text of the relevant articles, but also need to understand the definition, the protocol, the domestic law characterization, any multilateral instrument modification, the factual metrics, the documentation trail, and increasingly an answer to the anti-avoidance question that is relevant for us. That is, why is this entity here and why should this treaty benefit be available? So the central theme for the next hour is that treaty analysis are now an exercise in sequencing, evidence, and coherence. So the legal form, the commercial narrative, the cash flow, the people making decisions, and the tax results must all line up. If they don't, the structure is fragile, even if the treaty wording initially looks favorable. So my aim today is practical. By the end of the session, I would like you to be able to read a treaty issue like a practitioner, not just asking what the article says, but asking what the article means in the context, and how the anti-abuse rules interact with it, and what evidence will be needed to defend a position in a boardroom, in an audit, or in a dispute. So let's go to slide 2. So this is the route through the session. We begin with the treaty purpose and interpretation, because if you misread the function of a treaty, you will almost certainly misapply the operative articles. We will then move into residence, tiebreakers, and transparent entities, where a surprising number of practical problems begin. After that, we will deal with permanent establishment and business profits, then the classic withholding tax provision on dividends, interest, and royalties, with a particular focus on beneficial ownership and the operational difference between relief as source and reclaim. We then turn to capital gains and implement income at a practical overview level before moving into the anti-avoidance core, that is the principal purpose test, the limitation of benefit, the domestic GAR and TAR style rules, and the interaction with hybrid mismatch outcomes. Finally, we look at the treaty versus the domestic law sequencing, the evidence and the governance files you should actually maintain, and a set of case study, checklist, and also some questions.